shit. You can do it. You go, girl. You were born to shine. And we're kind of just having fun, being a bit sarcastic with it. It's very slapstick and very on the nose. And with this set, it's like, ooh, we're not about the male gaze, but we really are about the male gaze. And we're really overplaying it and on the nose because I'm about to get smashed, which is like a reset for me and a reset for my idea of feminine divine. And it's a whole different world we go to after this. We wanted to open this video making it look like a super high gloss pop star video, and that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Woo! Yeah!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Intellectual Podcast. We're just putting a little dab of nuance to the polarizing conversation of the internet. I'm Jem.
And I'm Renee.
And we are your hosts for today's conversation that honestly, surprisingly, has an insane amount of discourse right now, for better or for worse. I don't know. Maybe this is what she wanted. But Katy Perry and her new music video. What the hell is going on with that? Did it hit the way it was supposed to hit? Is it working as intended? The girl kissed a girl and she liked it, and now she's crashing out. Yeah. Like, what the heck is going on with you, Katy Perry?
Here we are.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Things are so strange. And on the one hand, I don't necessarily hate the song.
You know, I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
You hate it? Really? Why?
I don't like it. No. I mean, it's funny because I see this, I've been seeing this a lot, like, on the internet, but, like, it feels as if the song, it feels like a couple things. It feels like it's supposed to be on a Kohl's commercial where they're talking about Kohl's Cash and the women's world is in the background. That, or it was, they definitely, this I'm like, has to be 100% true. They 100% presented this song to the Barbie movie people and it just didn't make the cut.
Right.
That 100% was what happened. But yeah, it just, or it gives a Selling Sunset montage while they're like getting out of their really expensive cars and their unnecessarily lavish and extravagant clothing as they're walking into a large multi-million-dollar home that they definitely are not the ones selling, but they're pretending like they're selling. So that's what it's giving.
That's a very specific description.
Yes.
Right.
It's giving corny millennial. Because also this is the thing too. It's like she's clearly like capitalizing. We are in general right now with music entering recession pop era, and I am absolutely here for
Recession
pop. Yep. You don't remember like 2010s when like it's like, I can't pay my rent, but I'm gonna dance all night at the club. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have fun. Don't worry about anything. Like if you look at like the lyrics,
I'm gonna have to pay attention to that because I've never really recession. Like 2008 era.
Yeah,
wow.
Like look up recession pop. It's very much a thing. The moment that pop music starts hitting, like hitting. That's when you know shit's bad.
Right.
Because we have Chappell Roan, we have Sabrina Carpenter, we have Charlie XCX, like all of these like pop girls who are like Kesha, which is Kesha's ironic, giving that juxtaposed with Katy Perry and her Dr. Luke, which we'll obviously get into.
Oh, so it was Kesha and Dr. Luke, that was a thing.
Yeah, it was Kesha, and Dr. Luke that had their very large.
They're very dramatic.
Very large lawsuit situation. But anyways, so clearly we're in like this era and it's fine. Like everyone's trying to capitalize. I think we talked about this before with like the Barbie movie, that like we are in this era where it is a woman's world, as Katy Perry so kindly pointed out to us.
Girl boss shit.
Yes, we know. It is like the girl's girl, like all that kind of stuff. We're definitely very much in that era. And yes, we are capitalizing off of it. And people are very obviously, like companies, brands, et cetera, are very much trying to capitalize off of it. But it just didn't give. It just didn't hit.
This one fell flat.
it fell so flat.
It fell so flat. And we're gonna try to figure out why. Try to figure out why. Using her own words, mind you, because
against her.
I mean, like I said, everything you said is valid.
Yeah.
I agree, sure.
Yeah.
But like it seems like this antiseptic kind of song that's just supposed to be used in commercials.
Yes.
Which is something I can't be mad at. It's like if that's what
I can be.
Sure, be mad, I guess. Be mad, I guess.
Well,
But
because it's just because like she's trying to like be like, I don't know, just like it's like the same thing. It's like a reflection of what's happening in our government. Sorry,
you're projecting.
No, I'm not projecting. I'm comparing. Look, like you are the old generation. Make way for the new. The new pop girls are doing their thing and they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And you're just making a caricature of that.
Right.
And it's not cool. You're old. Go home to your husband and child.
Oh my
Sorry,
goodness.
I'm being very ageist. I apologize.
No, this conversation is going to be a very ageist conversation. We're going to get there because I have things to say about being that old, doing what, you know what? We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're getting really ahead of ourselves. But like, again, isolate the song in and of itself.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's definitely supposed to just be like this pander type of thing. Very simple, not very deep. The lyrics are like juvenile.
Yes.
Juvenile as heck.
Right.
So
Right.
it is what it is. But if it was just that, I don't think I would have anything to say about it.
No.
But it's like supposed to be more.
Yes.
And she wanted it to be more.
100%.
And she was trying for it to have like a cultural impact.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
well, if you're going to do that, then now I have to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And if you don't deliver on that,
Then I'm going to have my criticisms.
yeah, then we're gonna have to have a whole podcast episode about it because
We are sat.
Here we are, man.
Yes.
Here we are. So, just a little overview, I will say, just to get the general thing that's going on. Very, very quote unquote horny ass music video.
Yeah.
Very, very, very horny ass music. It opens, and I actually thought the opening shot was really good, first of all.
No, I
Bunch of beautiful women sitting on a beam, construction site. They're like girl boss era using 1940s iconography. She's supposed to be Rosie the Riveter.
Right.
It's very like glamorous. It's very nice. And then all of a sudden she rips off her shirt and now she's like basically half naked and they're dancing and drinking whiskey and doing all these things, which, you know what?
whiskey for women.
That
That was on the bottle.
Really?
That
Wow.
was whiskey
Wow.
for women was on the bottle.
Clearly very pandering, very
Yes.
aggressive. And then that was like supposed to be catered to the male gaze very aggressively, right? Sure.
Right.
But then she falls through the little fucking feminist cloud and she wakes up on the other side. She's smashed by an anvil. She blows herself back up. And
Oh, you missed though the part where she and all of her girls are in front of the urinals. And
no, I didn't miss that. I missed talking about it.
I just want to mention that because that was probably the worst part of the music video for
Why
me.
did you hate that one
I
so
hated
much?
it. Why? Why? It just is
Because
so
women can do what every men can do. What do you mean? Obviously, that's what he was going for. Like, I can stand up and pee. You can stand up and pee. You know?
It just was
you know?
cringy. It was cringy. It was so like that was so cringy. I can't. Okay, go on. It was just so cringy.
No, yeah, I agree.
I can't.
agree. And then, supposedly,
Yes.
she wakes up in this new feminist world and honestly didn't really see much of a difference in what like the delivery was. She was still half naked. She's just wearing these awkward robotic things. And then like I guess the feminist gaze that she was going for is like, oh, I'm over here and like I can put up my makeup and be messy and put gas in my ass.
She walked through a kitchen and a lady was in the kitchen doing dishes.
I don't freaking know.
Like that, it just like, what's the messaging?
Yeah, it was like a very, very confused messaging. And it didn't really have a point to me. No. It just kind of existed.
The ring light that became the
feminist symbol thing. And like the one part of the music video I will say, like, because I think it was if anything was satire and satire accurately achieved.
Yeah.
It was the girl asked like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
Who are you? I'm Katy Perry. Yeah. That to me, like, yeah, clearly you're kind of irrelevant right now.
Yeah.
And this entire thing is like an attempt to be relevant. So it's like, oh, I'm poking fun of myself. No one knows who I am. I'm Katy Perry.
No, we know exactly who you are. We all know who you are, Katy Perry. Oh my God.
I'm just saying, like, in the sense that she's not part of like the discussion, you know?
I know, but like still, like no. Like,
we haven't forgotten. We haven't forgotten, but that shit was kind of funny to me.
Oh,
but
good.
Outside of that,
yeah,
you have to begin to wonder what exactly she was going for. And then when you peel back the layers and you see who produced it, what was really the point of this?
It just felt so like none of it made any sense. Like it really, because there was a video behind the scenes of her like talking and she's like, it's giving like slapstick. It's it's satire. And it's like, yeah, it's like giving slapstick in like the worst way possible. Like you just like, you took a bunch of stereotypical things and shoved it into a music video. For what reason?
Yeah.
And like it wasn't even like campy style, like you know what I mean? Like, okay, sure, be like on the nose, be like slapstick, be satire, but like at least, especially when it's like, I don't know, like women's world or whatever, like at least I don't know. It just like it was on the nose in like the worst way possible.
Yeah, I agree. And I saw this quote because when she was talking about how it was supposed to be satire and like really dramatic, but in the opposite way, I think she's kind of missing the point of satire, one, first of all. Yeah. And then second of all, there's this quote about satire that I saw, and it says, satire requires clarity of purpose and target, lest it be mistaken for and contribute to that which it intends to criticize. And I was like,
that part.
Well, that sums it up perfectly, doesn't it? Because, and this is why I kind of stepped away from the hypersexuality, because at the end, first and foremost, this is supposed to be like art, right?
Yeah.
And art kind of can toe this line of just over the top exaggeration. The hypersexuality and what it's supposed to represent kind of is irrelevant because it's like this artistic endeavor.
I honestly didn't really think it was that like hypersexual personally. I mean, there was the random shots, like the random boob shot, which felt like, okay. Like,
right, that's exactly how I felt about
the
it.
nakedness, honestly, I didn't even really notice, like the nakedness seems pretty irrelevant to me. Like most women, that's just kind of like pop girls, that's what they were wearing these days, or leotards and like bras and stuff like that. Like that's just what it is. Like I don't think that matters at all, but like it really didn't, it felt like there were other things over like the hypersexuality like commentary that was more at the forefront.
Exactly. But you see that in like art all the time, right? A lot of art is just like naked and a lot of art is just like whatever it is. And it's supposed to be that way. Like art gets to be that way because it's art.
Right.
So we can't really like critique it. We can't really be mad at that. But when she has all these elements that each represent their own things, like Rose the Riveter, 1940s iconography, why was that like a whole thing? What was the purpose of that? And then when you compare it to like the new modern feminism and whatever the second half of the video was supposed to be, there's no real like association. There's no real like synergy into that. It's not necessarily making a point or having an opinion. It's just there for being their sake. Yeah. Like, oh, Royce the Riveter, she was really influential with women. Let's put that there. Whiskey for women, because it's usually for men. Oh, women don't do construction. Let's put that there.
Yeah.
And then the second half is just like,
yeah.
What is this? What is this? What are we doing? What is happening here? I don't understand. Which is kind of expanded and kind of emphasized by the whole Dr. Luke thing and Kesha thing. Like, sure, because Dr. Luke was actually the one that did the Teenage Dream album.
Right.
So you can kind of make a case that like she's trying to get back this kind of stardom, this star sensation type of thing. He was the one that produced that. So go back to the people that made you successful, sure.
Totally.
how you feel about this man who is allegedly doing all this stuff, kind of irrelevant until you call the song
Woman's World.
Woman's World.
Yeah.
Like, why would you call the song Woman's World?
Yeah.
And then have it produced by this person who is like notorious for gratuitous sexual assault against like your peers. Like,
Yeah.
aren't they like friends relatively?
Kesha and Katy Perry? I don't think so.
No?
I think maybe at one point they were like coworkers, so to speak. But I do know that, you know, with everything that went on with Kesha and Dr. Luke and that whole like legal process, there was a point where Kesha potentially may have claimed that Katy Perry was one of his victims, and which obviously I don't know if she's working with him now, so it just feels like all just like very weird and odd, and like you were saying, like given the whatever messaging she's trying to give with this video, which is really unclear because it just feels like she's just like shoving a bunch of things into like a 2-3 minute video. It just feels very odd that she's like working with him.
Exactly. They were talking about how it feels almost like when you combine the two, it's almost like you're making fun.
Right.
It's like kind of a mockery, a whole like mockery. It's like, oh yeah, it's like Woman's World, but like this dude who is clearly not for the women.
Right.
Is like producing this thing. It's like, sure, I guarantee you, like her the goal wasn't to like make a mockery of women, right?
Yeah.
But just optically,
it just it
it's
feels
just like, why couldn't you
not
have like made that connection?
Well, I mean, they clearly couldn't like follow any sort of like storyline, and like it just is like very like from the moment of like them creating it with Dr. Luke to like the actual like final product of the music video, nothing is connected. It's all just shoved in there. It's like nothing makes sense. There was no clear vision from start to finish for this entire thing,
which then immediately makes me wonder why. Why? Because again, if you're making a strong satirical statement, that shit has to be mad thought out.
Yes.
The best satire is completely thought out. The Simpsons, one of like the most longest running satirical shows on the planet. Best version of satire we have.
Right.
They're predicting things way out into the future. There's a whole conspiracy about how the Simpsons are time travel because of how much they plan things out, how like connected they are to the happenings that are going on. So it's just so confusing. Katy Perry.
Katy Perry, why?
It's just so confusing.
Why Katy Perry?
How could you make such a tone deaf female empowerment?
Yeah, especially for someone who has been in the industry for so long, you would think that there would be a little bit more
awareness.
Yeah, awareness, follow through, etc. But I mean, that just goes to show, like, you know, how like desperation can is really can bite you in the ass because you're so desperate to stay relevant. Which you know that this is the result.
This is definitely the result. Which is like we were saying, how she's calling attention to how like no one knows, like, who are you, Katy Perry, blah blah blah. It's like, it's not wasted on me that this is the most attention she's got.
Yeah, in a while.
Since 2017.
Yeah, 1000%.
And I thought this girl was having like a midlife crisis in 2017 when she did that music video with the Migos. I was just like,
she was trying to pull a Miley Cyrus moment with the blonde short hair, bleach.
Self just like trying to rebrand, rediscover yourself. Who am I? What am I doing? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, that just did not go. That did not go at all.
You would think she would have learned from that,
right?
You know,
right.
Like that's why she's been kind of in the background for these past few years. She was taking stock. I was actually, I'll be honest too, I was kind of excited when I heard that Katy Perry was going to be releasing music. Yeah. I was very like excited and like curious because she had been kind of away from the industry for so long. And like there was definitely a moment where kind of right before she cut off all her hair, that I really enjoyed Katy Perry. I mean, as a lot of people did. I know that a lot of people did. So it's like I loved Katy Perry when she was like in her heyday. So I was excited for like her coming back. She's got the dark jet black long hair back again, like classic Katy, and
everyone was expecting a nice evolution.
Right. You know, like there's nothing wrong with doing a little callback to your heyday, of course, but like doing it in a way that also shows that you've like evolved in some way.
Like how Beyonce does Destiny Child at her concerts and stuff like that.
Totally, exactly. A perfect example. I mean, Beyonce is a perfect example for really most things. And all of these women, Katy Perry, J-Lo, they really need to take note of what Beyonce's doing. Their whole teams need to get in contact with Beyonce's team. Like, this is how you stay relevant as a major artist.
Decades over decades.
Yeah.
Which I wonder how much of that, I definitely don't want to make this about race at all.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm not going to
We're
make it
taking
about
it there,
race.
though. No.
Like, just a little bit. Just to dip our toes in there.
We're barreling towards it. Race.
No. Slow down. Everybody calm down. I just want to know, just like, how much of that is informed by her being a black woman? And how, like, a black woman would not be able to, like, do this and survive? Like, I'm not going to make it about race. But that's also not wasted on me.
We're just going to put that there. We're just going to leave it. And we're going to let you guys think about that.
Yeah, think about that. Because, like, it's
that's so true.
Interesting how perfect Beyonce's image is.
Totally.
Whitewashed, clean, curated, beautiful. And she executes everything with, like, so much intention, so much, like, skill. Yeah. It's almost like
the attention to detail is
very
crazy.
impressive. And like, of course you can say like, that's just the type of person. She's very meticulous. She's meticulous with her daughter. She's meticulous with everything, all those behind the scenes shit she does.
Right.
She's smart. She's good. She's capable. She's aware.
Yes.
But how much of that is a byproduct of her not being able to be so lackadaisical, to be so nonchalant about
things
image.
can't fall through the cracks in the same way. Nope. Very true. Very, very true.
So, in regards to Katy Perry and her, whatever she's doing right now, I think, how should I put this? I want to be respectful.
I want to be respectful.
I want to be so respectful.
Oh.
Because, I don't know. I think people should and maybe might have to have a little more empathy for what it means to be a performer and an entertainer. Like, that's a relatively hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Especially when at one point you were at the top of the game.
Yeah.
And just like having my little taste of fame and how like addicting that can be. Millions upon billions of people just like low-key worshiping you.
Yeah.
And then going from that to like normalcy. It's like you really cling to the energy of what it's like to like sing in front of millions of people and shit like that. So I won't fault her for being human in the sense that like I can see why she would want to get back to that. Yeah.
Especially since she was like this sort of like feminist icon and kind of in her like downfall, and I don't mean like actually downfall, but kind of as she became less popular, other people came into the industry and started blowing up a new generation. She was becoming a mother, and I could see how you were at the top of the game, this feminist icon, pop star lady, and then now you were married, you have a child, and you're not making music the same way that you used to. You're not as relevant as you used to, and like how that can be a very scary feeling that you may have just been like, you have just followed the path that you may have. And I don't know if this is what Katy Perry actually feels, but just like kind of going along that line. Like, I know there's a lot of women who feel that way. Like, have I just reduced myself? And motherhood is a wonderful, beautiful thing. And I think everyone who does become a mother, not to take away from that literally at all, but you're also an individual. And like, have you reduced yourself to the very thing that you were afraid of that society is like trying to like make you to be? You are a mother, you are a wife, you know, etc.
That point just made something click in my brain. This entire conversation was based on the question, why is sexuality and female empowerment so inextricably linked together, right? Like every time a girl needs to feel empowered, it's always like being sexy, being fit, being like lovable in that regard. I think you just solved that. There's a concept in the progression of how women age and the ideas that they represent. It's like maiden, mother, matriarch, I think is the one.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And there was a person talking about how American society specifically makes it so hard to have that logical progression.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to stay a maiden.
Yeah.
All the time.
Right.
And we don't empower matriarchs. We don't empower mothers.
Right.
So for women who have progressed to that age in which they're feeling like irrelevant to society, the only way to get more power is to become maidens again. And it's always a weird disconnect because you're a mom.
Right.
You don't need to be knocking your boobs together.
Right.
You're a mom. Am I mad at it?
No, she has nice tits.
She has nice tits, bro. She has nice. Let the record show. Let the record show. I am not upset about it.
Yeah.
But like that initial reaction, I always have to question.
Yeah.
Because of what the message is.
Yeah. Well, and I think you definitely hit the point there, like struck a chord there, where it's like, yeah, we as a society don't empower mothers. It should be a situation where you enter like motherhood, and instead of feeling empowered in that, it almost feels like a cage, right?
Yeah, like
that you have been
lost
put
something.
into. And that's not necessarily, that's a lot of things. There's a lot of people and variables at fault for that very thing. But just in general, as a society, we don't empower women. So yeah, it feels like when you become a mother, you become irrelevant, but that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
That should not be the case at all. We should not feel that way. And it's on us as collectively for creating that.
Because mothers don't necessarily need to be sexualized. But since we sexualize damn near everything, especially women, then that's like the only power they have. So something has to give. And like you said, empowering mothers is a good thing.
Yes.
We need we need better representation.
We need more mothers.
Like that. We don't necessarily need more mothers. I mean, maybe the U.S. Census might disagree with you.
Yeah.
My population's declining. Oh my God. But
So good.
I think we have to, because we are one of the few societies that don't hold moms in like high regard. At least like the general female progression into motherhood, that's not as like valued.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because of the narratives around feminism. And how like you can't necessarily be a mom and be like this career woman, or like it's really hard to balance those things. Which, fun fact, as I was researching this 1940s like situation, Barbie movie, how we were talking about how this progression was that we want to work, we want to be in the workforce, but like men still expected women to take care of the house. It wasn't a male expectation. It was just a reality that had to happen, because the reason why women joined the workforce is because all the men went to go fight in the war.
True. World War II.
And there was no men. So they got married, they had kids, and the men went to go to war. So they had to take care of the kids and work in the factories to make all those bullets and shit like that. So it was just a thing that they had to do. It wasn't necessarily like you get to blow, how we were explaining in the Barbie movie, basically.
Right.
It was just like a circumstantial thing that had to happen. And then when all the men came back, it was like, well, we're here now. You can stay in the house. And they're like, nah, we like working, actually. And that's how the whole discussion started. I was like, wow.
Interesting.
That is super interesting. Yeah. Again, is it relevant to the conversation? No, I just thought it was like so cool. Like, wow, callback.
Yeah.
Like, that's how that happened.
Yeah.
And it makes so much sense. It wasn't as antagonistic as we previously thought.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. But yeah, I have a little bit of empathy for her in that regard.
Yeah.
But equally, completely on the other side of that,
Right.
you need, as the pop star that you are, as the person that you are in this whole landscape, you have to be better than what this representation is, one. And two, to cling to this idea of how you were in the past and the effect that you had on society in the past, it seems like you are struggling to find your creative voice and you're struggling to have like any semblance of what it means and why you were making the impact that you were making back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
And clinging to the past was not the way you were doing that.
No.
And it feels like now we're taking steps back in the whole narrative of what it means for female empowerment and female empowerment music.
Yeah.
Rather than evolving it to a new place, which I think Katy Perry specifically is more than capable of doing. One, because she did it before.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just because the conversations were different and she kind of started the conversations around that with the whole I kissed a girl and I liked it, stuff like that.
Sure.
That was one of the most impactful moments in that conversation. I was in high school when that shit happened. And it was all anybody could ever talked about.
Yeah.
She kissed a girl and she liked it.
Well, especially given her background as being like an ex-Christian singer.
Right.
She was just,
So,
yeah.
that,
Well, I think it's also, like I said, I think it's just like her, like we were saying, like her messaging hasn't evolved in any way. Like, yes, this may have been something that back in 2010 would have worked perfectly for like everyone would have maybe Women's World like released back in 2010 would have completely popped off. Everyone would have been absolutely obsessed with it. Like, but the conversation has evolved since then. We as a society have evolved since then. The feminist movement, the feminist messaging has evolved a lot since then.
and arguably she has evolved since then.
Yeah.
Like, she's not the same Katy Perry from 2014.
Exactly. And it didn't feel like that was seen in there, except for the fact that she said something about being a mother and had Trisha Paytas in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
which, honestly, she looked good in that shit too.
No, everyone looked amazing. Look, this is what I will say. Everyone looked absolutely stunning, right? Like the hair and makeup department did their job.
Yeah.
But
On
like,
point. I wonder how expensive that shit was.
it was 100%. I don't
Like,
know.
actually.
But it didn't. Yeah, it didn't feel like her. And I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't expect women who become mothers to have some profound like evolution. But everyone that I know that becomes a mother does have some profound evolution.
But they do.
And you would think that would have been reflected in some way in her. And who knows? The whole album hasn't been released yet, right? So like maybe they just did a bad pick for the single, and maybe the other music is better on her album.
And did they pick badly?
Right, because we're talking about it.
We're talking about it.
And
if attention is the point, and she didn't do anything egregious enough to like be canceled or something like that.
Yeah, it was just the right amount of controversy.
So maybe all this was intended, which is like where my mind went to at the as I was thinking through this entire conversation, which like I was saying earlier, I was telling Renee that this is a conversation I would never have on a podcast because I logically think through all these things. And I was like, well, that's probably what it is. So like, why would I feed
Why do we talk about it?
Yeah, exactly. But I just wanted to see because like, why not just take people through the thought process?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, celebrities are not role models. They're products.
Yes. Oh, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh. Sorry.
You went through every iteration. I love it. The reality just sinking in.
Just late stage capitalism has been on my mind.
Yeah, man.
It's been on everyone's mind.
Yeah, kind of. We're
Yeah. Right, exactly.
yeah, man. Late stage capitalism.
Yeah. You know what Katy Perry should do? You know what would turn this around in a way that's like so annoying, but in a way that like I think everyone might enjoy. She comes out with another single and it's featuring JoJo Siwa. Tell me that would not be like the worst, best thing ever. She comes out with a song featuring JoJo Siwa. They do a collaboration.
I'm gagged.
They both, you know what? And JoJo Siwa's recent single that she just released, she was wearing a bedazzled construction worker vest. And so was Katy Perry.
I think both of those both of those artists are missing such a significant point. They're missing such a significant point. I do not want to see their collaboration.
I think that's exactly why they should do it.
Oh my god.
Because they're joint slay.
No, actually,
Like-
let me take this seriously for a second. Let me think about this because Katy Perry had the production value.
Mm-hmm.
She had the messaging was strange.
Yeah,
But the production value was there.
totally.
And if it was like goofier, I think it might have worked a little better. Because like it took itself a little too seriously.
Just like slightly,
a little too seriously. So JoJo Siwa being there to camp it up.
Right.
With her, what do you say, gay pop?
Yeah, with her
her gay
revolutionary, new on the scene, never seen before, gay pop, right?
I think you might be onto something. And I hate it. I hate that
Guys,
you low-key on this because ill.
I think we would all
Ew.
hate it so. I think we would hate watch.
Yeah.
I think we
hate
would
it
hate
so
watch.
much that it's good.
It's gonna give that. It's almost. I'm not a part of the LGBTQ community, so please anyone correct me on what camp is.
Right.
But from my understanding of it, from what I would see of it, I think it might be so bad it would give camp. It would be campy.
I think so too.
I think
I
potentially.
think so too.
Let me know.
Jesus Christ. I both love and hate the way you think because gross, but like
Right?
you low key. Disgusting.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I
But
wanna
yeah,
throw up.
man, freaking celebrities are products.
Yeah.
Celebrities are freaking products.
Right.
And I know that the current landscape of pop music specifically, it has kind of encroached with the Billie Eilishes and the what's the people that you listed before?
Billie Eilish, Charlie XCX, Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia
Ooh, Sabrina,
Rodrigo.
yes. Very intimate, very personable. Now it's
Yes.
like they're your best friends and they're like relating to your experience
Totally.
and stuff like
you have
that.
Sabrina Carpenter commenting on like everyone's like TikToks with like funny, stuff,
Exactly. And so when you have that, like that's the new age style pop.
Yeah.
This iteration of Katy Perry just feels empty in comparison.
Yes.
So
yeah, and I think in furthering that comparison, like to specifically Sabrina Carpenter, because and what you had said earlier about if it was just like the song itself, very simple lyrics, like very basic, just like an AI could have created the song and
Probably did,
released
not
it.
gonna lie.
And yeah, exactly right with how things are going. And to be fair, like yeah, I felt similarly about Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso song. Very simplistic. I did not really get it. I did
I'm working late.
Right, because I'm a singer.
It's true.
Okay, like yeah, totally. I didn't get it. I didn't like it. I thought it was just like weird. If it was just that, then yeah, it would have been like okay, like it was just like a basic pop song, like whatever. But it was like coupled with the music video. And honestly, to be fair, I think that's how people when the song first came out, that's how people originally were like. Okay, like there's like it's like also the BPM I felt was kind of slow, like you know what I mean?
Weirdly slow.
Yeah,
Like,
like weirdly slow. Like pick it up a little bit, y'all.
And then like it was weirdly slow.
Yeah.
But the song was so short.
Yes, exactly.
And like I'm in this
that
weird
too.
temporal space,
It was
not
like,
really
I think
knowing how
the
to
song was
feel.
like 2 minutes,
Like two and a half.
less than 3 for sure. Like just weird, like those weird like things.
And then you're trying to like put so much meaning in that. Like
Right.
make that shit 4 minutes. It's
No,
okay.
exactly.
It's
Come on now.
Really talk about it. You're gonna talk
If
about it.
we're gonna do it,
Talk
say it with your
about it.
chest at
Talk about
least.
it. Talk about it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. So it feels empty in comparison, and it doesn't necessarily showcase evolution as an artist. Which, like we were saying before, I think Katy Perry, of all people, she's been judging American Idol for how long?
Yeah.
She has a grasp of what it means to
Right.
like make these things.
Yeah, she has
You
a
would-
finger on the pulse.
Right. I think her of all people should be able to evolve in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think we all kind of fall victim to correlating attention and stardom and being a celebrity with
Yeah.
a person that has that attention is someone that we should admire and emulate. When at the end of the day, they're just like people.
Yeah.
They're just people doing what people do.
Yeah.
And they're not meant to be role models.
Yeah.
So this, at the end of the day, if she is just a product of the people who employ her, it's kind of giving exactly what it needs to give.
Yeah.
Because it did what it was supposed to do.
Right.
And it's hard for me knowing how all those things work. Like, yeah, we're talking about how intentional it wasn't.
Yeah.
But maybe that was by design.
Sure. Totally could have been. It definitely could have been. I mean, I guess I'm like in general not really surprised either by like the very like stereotypical like American like feminist like messaging, like with like the, what is it, Rosie the Riveter? Because even like in past music videos, Katy Perry has like been in like there's one, maybe I should find the music video, but there's this one music video that she did where someone was like, this is just one big ad for the military. Like she's always kind of done these like weird, like very like even in her I Kissed a Girl era, she always was kind of this like very like subtly patriotic like pop feminist girl, you know? So it's also a little like, but granted, like I don't know, like the evolution, like yeah, there's still maybe no evolution in that way, and that's what you were literally just saying. But like, also, like, I also don't think I really expected anything less from Katy Perry, given how like somewhat interesting and sus her past messaging in music videos has been. In term, you know, sus from my point of view, in terms of my value set.
Wow.
Maybe not from other people's, but from my own.
I can see that too, because she did that whole like Anubis Egypt thing.
Right.
Like,
She's always, she's kind of been that like millennial, like cultural appropriating, like I love America, like type. She kind of has always been that girl. Her teenage, like her I Kissed a Girl, like she was doing the classic retro like looks. That was her whole thing, you know? So the fact that she did like a very like gimmicky, like feminist thing, like that was like, did not actually hit and was like regressive in nature.
Regressive in nature, right. On like multiple levels. Like on multiple levels. Like Jesus Christ.
Like God, I'm not surprised. I would hope she would have evolved, but also I guess not really surprised.
It's very on brand.
What do we expect from her?
More.
Yeah.
More.
She's a mother now.
She's a mother. Is this
she's a woman, like a
to,
grown
represent
woman
to your daughter?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
like literally my last point. Maybe this is what she wants to represent to her daughter.
Exactly. Like it's based off of what we think is like, I don't know, the proper, I don't even want to say proper way of like, I don't know.
Right.
This is what she's like, yeah, this is it.
And maybe this is
what being a woman is to her. And I actually, if that's the case, I really can't like, I can't really, not that I can't critique that, but like, that's your existence. You know, that's what you want to do.
It's harder to invalidate.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I wonder if this whole conversation is blown up because it is about feminism, and we just all have opinions about feminism and how it should be represented and all that stuff. So maybe if she was talking about, I don't know, what else could you possibly talk about?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
So who knows? But I think that Katy Perry could have done better.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish that she did because, again, not to compare her to literally everyone in the industry, but to do exactly that. You see Beyonce.
Yeah.
You see Rihanna. She's not making music, but you see her evolution. You see, who's another, again, J-Lo.
J-Lo is in the same camp as Kate. Like I could do the same critique on J-Lo.
Who are the other older artists?
That are
Gwen
killing
Stefani, Ariana Grande to an extent.
Right. Yeah. Sort of.
Yeah. Kind of. You see their progression, and it all follows logical flow. It's like, okay, I do this, I did this, and now I'm doing this because this is a representation of me.
Yeah.
And it's a little disappointing, even though I have like no stakes in Katy Perry's existence. I've never based any one of my values, like you were saying, on what Katy Perry does. And she was never been my role model, so I'm just talking about this just because.
Right.
Like, it's kind of disappointing to see that you are literally who you were when I was in high school.
Yeah, like nothing has changed.
That's a decade ago.
Yeah. No, and I guess taking back the Ariana Grande maybe, because even like say like Ariana Grande's new album, like she's giving us everything that is like classic of Ariana Grande that we love and appreciate about her, but also at the same time there does seem to be some evolution of like the way that she's like producing the music and the approach she has to her songwriting and all this kinds of stuff, like the way that she's having fun with the music in a new way. Like there's still evolution there, and that's definitely why. Huge reason why it's not because it's like flopping, but it's not because it's flopping, but we're also talking about the flop.
It's successful in the way that music should not be successful.
Exactly. Like I said, like JoJo Siwa. Like everyone's hate listening to her music. Everyone watch that music video.
True.
You know what I mean? No one was watching that because we were here for it.
Which is so funny
I mean?
because actually, that music video, her like JoJo Siwa's little moment, made the original Karma like more popular.
Popped off.
So she's launched somebody else's music career, which is crazy.
Right.
Like we hate it so much. We want the real one to be popular.
That lady's music career.
Sure.
She's been retired.
Talk about being a mother.
We brought her back simply because this was so bad.
Save us, please. Dude, how bad do you have to be for that to be a thing? That's so crazy. That's
so bad.
So insane. But yeah.
Oh God.
But yeah.
All right, Katy Perry.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a little bit disappointing, but like I said, I have no stakes in Katy Perry. So keep doing what you're doing, ? We'll see how the album is.
Yeah. I unfortunately will be hate listening or just like curious. I don't hate anything. I'm not going to listen to the music.
I'm curious too.
I'm a little curious. I might click in on a couple songs to just see what she decided to do with the whole album.
Very curious. Very curious.
Indeed. It's
But
a woman's world.
It is a woman's world, and we are lucky to be living in it. And I always, because that's so obviously referential to this is a man's world. And I just think about the different messaging. Not that it's relevant. Like, I'm not taking a stance one way or another.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting that it's a woman's world, and we're just lucky to be living in it. But it's a man's world, and it's nothing without a woman. Interesting. Interesting.
It's a woman's world, and then she continues to do everything in the music video. This is what men do. I can do it too. Like how? Anyways, okay. You know what I mean? Like,
see, again, we get it.
Yeah.
It's okay. What do you think about the movie? What do you think about the music video? Did it piss you off? Did it empower you? Did it confuse you? Did it stress you out? Let me know.
Would you listen to a song collaboration between JoJo Siwa and Katy Perry?
Oh, should you?
Should we support that?
Right.
Would we?
If you want that, are you okay?
No,
she's
I'm not.
She's not. We know she's not. But are you?
I'm demented.
Are you? Oh man. Concerning.
Yes. But anyways, if you want to see more of us talking about Katy Perry, I don't know. Just go and follow our Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube, and our TikTok. Also follow us there. All that good stuff.
Because at the end of the day, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Renee.
And we're the Intellectuals signing off. Until next time.
Goodbye.